When you create a beautiful piece of art or jewelry, you want to show it off. But getting a really good photo of your piece can be so frustrating. In this video, I'll show you how to take good photos of your crafts using your phone, some good light, and a few carefully placed props. Once you have a great photo, you can head over to the Paper Bead Fanatics Facebook group and submit pictures of your pieces to appear in our holiday compilation video. Let's get started. Now, you don't need to have fancy equipment to take a good shot of your piece. All you really need is a neutral background and some diffuse light. Now, taking your photo outside is a great way to accomplish this. Here, I've put this background down on my front walk, and I've leaned it up against a stake to give me some flat and some background piece. Now, this is just a piece of poster board that I purchased at the craft store. Now, this is a perfect spot because I'm not in direct sunlight. Now, if it's a sunny day, deep shade will work perfectly. Or if it's an overcast day like I have today, you can take the photo just about anywhere. If you want more consistency to your photos or the ability to take photos at any time of day, you can set up a place inside. This is my photography station. The black box is the light box that I'm currently using. Now, it is pretty big, and it originally came with LED lights here in the top. Unfortunately, they broke after about a year, and instead of spending the money to buy a new box, I just took one of my old studio lights and positioned it right over the top of the box to flood it with light. Now, this box also came with a couple of other backgrounds. So I've got the white that's in there, I've got a black, a yellow background, and a gray background that I can put in if I want to do that. Now, before I got this large black box, I got this little shooting tent. It is significantly less expensive than the big box. The shooting tent also needs an external light source that you're shooting down from the top. It does not have the built-in lights. Now, this worked great for a while, but I had to replace it because it just wasn't large enough for everything I wanted to take pictures of. Let's talk about props. I purchased this stand from Michael's. Now, it's great for necklaces and earring sets. I just set it in the box in the center, kind of toward the back. Now, you can have a lot of different props that you can use. For example, I bought this set of wooden boards on Amazon. There's 3 different sizes, and you can set them up on blocks to display necklaces. You can also use them as a background. I'll put one in the back, one in the front flat, and then just zoom in close for the picture so that you can't see the edges of the wood. I also have these pillows, which are perfect for bracelets and earrings. I'll prop them up against the wood like this, or sometimes I'll even put the wooden block behind to prop them up. It's important to have props because not everything looks good against a plain white background. Silver can be very hard to capture against the white. Also, different angles and colors can help your jewelry pop and be appealing to your potential customer. But you want to keep props to a minimum so that you don't distract from your piece. Now, sometimes you'll need to adjust a bit to make things look nice. For example, on this jewelry form, I have a necklace that is so long it would come down past the bottom of the form. So I just took a twist tie and shortened the necklace so it fits nicely on the display. Let's talk about taking the photo. Now, you don't need fancy equipment to take good product photos. I am on my Android phone, and that's what I normally use for all of my pictures. Now, one thing that makes a good jewelry photo is the angle. Usually, you don't want to take the photo straight on. See how if I turn my form just a little bit to the side, it makes the photo more interesting? The other thing is the height of your camera. Now, we tend to want to take our photos at eye level, but that's not always the best angle. If I lower the camera so that it's aimed up at the piece, it gives a better look. Also, you don't have to get the entire prop in the photo. Now, I've learned it does look a little weird if I cut the neck off on this form, but I can cut off the base and it'll look fine. Also, make sure that your focus is right. On a phone, you can touch the screen to change the focus point in the image. Also on my phone, I can drag to adjust my exposure, which makes the photo brighter. Just don't go so bright that you blow out the details. Now let's take a picture of some actual beads. I'll put these Euro beads out for us to experiment with. I like to put these together in a scattered group rather than all lined up. Now, before you start shooting, always take a minute, stop, and look. Is there anything you need to fix? Are there flaws showing in their beads? Is there something that looks weird? Right here, you can see the edge of that paper. Do I want that in my photo? Once you have everything spaced out, the beads are all kind of facing in random different directions, like some have the bead core facing the camera, some have the pattern side facing the camera, some are up on end, etc., etc. I like to have a really nice mix so that you can get a good idea of what the bead looks like. Now let's talk about angles again. So I could put my phone directly over these beads and take a shot down like this. I mean, to be perfectly honest, this is just not an exciting picture. Like, there's no depth to an image when it's taken straight on like this. Plus, your phone and your hands are going to cast shadows down on the beads, impacting the quality of the light. That's no good for a picture. So right here is if I took the picture at about eye level. It's better than the straight on, but we're still not really getting that feeling of depth. So I'm going to take the camera down even further. Okay, this is what it looks like when the camera is completely level with the beads. Now, this isn't a bad photo, but you can't see all of the beads. So I'm going to lift the phone up just a few inches and tilt the phone forward just a little bit. Now you can see that the front beads look just a little bit blurry. Now I can touch the screen right on those front beads and you'll see the focus change. This is called depth of field. When a photo has a bit of blurriness in the back, it gives a sense of depth to the viewer. It's easy to see that although the beads in front look larger, they aren't larger, just closer. Now that I'm ready to take the photo, I'll take one more look to ensure that everything is perfect. Now, I don't like the two pink beads on the right being oriented the same way, so I'm going to move one of them. I'll fix a couple of other things here to make the beads look more random. It's funny that you have to be so careful to make things look like they're random. And now we're ready to take the photo. Now, this photo isn't going to be ready for sharing yet. We have some tweaking to do. However, starting with a good photo is crucial to getting a good end result. You can fix some things in post-production, but the better your original photo, the better the end result. Let's take a look at how you can easily tweak your photos afterward with some free software. I normally use the full version of Adobe Photoshop to edit my photos, but I wanted to show you how to do this with a free tool. So for this demonstration, we're using Adobe Photoshop Express. You can get it in the Windows Store, and there are also versions for mobile and tablets. Now, what I'm about to show you is some common things that I do to photos. Not all of these things need to be done to every photo. You're just going to have to look at it and decide what will work best for your particular image. I've opened the photo that we took of the beads. You can see that even with all of that light that we had, this photo is still very dark. We've got some editing to do. Over on the left, there are some presets. Now you can use these if you'd like, but I'm going to show you how to adjust some specific things. Click on the corrections icon on the left. First, we're going to work with light. It will give you options here and then a slider on your photo where you can adjust that option. We're going to start with exposure. I'm going to bring up the exposure as much as I can without washing out the colors or damaging the details on the beads. Then I'm going to go to highlights and I'm going to pull those up. Now let's take out some of these shadows. I'm going to up the whites a little bit and then darken the blacks, which will give us our shadows back without taking down the whites in this photo. Now that we've got the photo light enough, we need to look at the color. Sometimes when you lighten a photo, it'll change the colors and you need to adjust to get them back to real life. Saturation will take color out of your photo or increase it. Now you want to try and keep it pretty balanced. It can get pretty crazy. Okay, this looks good. Now you can also use tint and temperature to adjust the overall shading in the image. So if you get an image that looks too yellow or too blue, you can fix it. When you have the photo exactly where you want it, just click Save and you're good. Now that you know how to take an amazing picture of your work, head on over to the Paper Bead Fanatics group on Facebook and submit your images for our holiday compilation video. Your name and work could appear right here on my YouTube channel. The group link is in the description, and I'm taking submissions through November 2021. If you're watching this video after that time, there are sure to be more compilation videos, so come join us. Be sure to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.